What an amazing week it was. Bitcoin set an all-time high. Cardano set an all-month high. And what does this mean? We started off this week when Bitcoin was at 81,000 US dollars, and currently Bitcoin is standing at a whopping 80 89,000 US dollars. Yes, it has reached 93,000 US dollars. And our expectation on Monday was that Bitcoin is going to hit $86,000, but it did that and more. Now, a lot of interesting things happened this week, and I couldn't end off this week without summarizing what has been happening. So a lot has been happening, and if this week is basically just a foretaste of what the bull run normally is like. This reminds me of 4 years ago when we really entered the peak time of the bull run, because 8 years ago when I was part of the first bull run, I didn't know what's happening. I had no context in terms of how to actually read information. However, that has changed over the years, and I'm excited. I'm excited for what's coming. Seems as if President Trump is not wasting any time. So what he's doing is he's already lining up his team in order to take over. So yes, I'm sure that he's actually more than ready even to do it even before his time actually comes. So we all know that he's obviously taking office only in January. But look at the market. Look at the market. Cardano hit an all-month high. What does that mean? For the month of November, it basically broke all records. Yes, it's not an all-time high because yes, earlier this year. It's not an all-year high because earlier this year we reached around about 82 cents, and it's definitely not an all-time high because yes, not too long ago on our previous bull run it has reached US dollars. So my expectation for the end of this year was for ADA to actually reach $1. However, with how things are actually playing out, the market is speculating that ADA has something to do with the Department of Government Efficiency, the team that Trump has chosen in order to actually bring blockchain on board and basically incorporate how we run the country and actually incorporate blockchain into it, as well as appointing crypto experts on his treasury team. So this was only a speculation yesterday. However, it seems like we are cementing this. There's actually some truth to this matter. So, what did this person hide? So, obviously, it's just on Binance, and anyone can hide this. So, yes, one didn't take it too serious. So, the person said Donald Trump nominated Coinbase. Brian Armstrong as Secretary of Treasury. So we would love for that to actually happen. Whether it's true, I'm not sure. However, but this person seems to know what they are speaking about because they said this is a big boon for the cryptocurrency community, at least after Trump took office. Previously, the CEO of ADA also joined, and Musk also joined Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, and more people in the crypto community should enter the government in the future. So this person seems to know something that we don't know. Why? Because the founder of Cardano, Charles Hoskinson, he was seen. In fact, he said he's on his way to California, and we know that is obviously where Elon Musk's headquarters is, and that is basically where they run things. And then he said he's on his way to have some meetings, and then not long after that, he takes a photo of him at SpaceX. And we know that Elon Musk has been obviously chosen to be on Tom's team. So as a result, Cardano's founder being there, we obviously saw the price action in ADA. So yeah, so at the end of the day, like he mentioned that they basically signed a non-disclosure agreement, meaning that they cannot disclose what they've discussed in the meeting. But I mean, what else is there to talk about when we are actually in a bull run? And what is he going to speak to Elon about? He didn't say necessarily that he had meetings with Elon, but the proof is there. Obviously, they find ways to say what they cannot say. So they obviously didn't bring out too much of or in fact, any of the discussions that they had. We can see that Trump is definitely a man of his word, and he stuck to his guns. He said before the elections, obviously Robert F. Kennedy, they basically joined the Trump administration, and after the Trump have been elected, he could have easily said, you know what, no, we've used you, or just didn't basically give him any recognition or give him any power. But we see that Trump actually gave him this huge portfolio of Department of Health and Human Service Secretary. So yeah, he's a man of his word, and therefore we see that people are actually rallying behind him. People are so excited for his term to actually take effect. Then, as we have obviously also spoken earlier this week, that Gary Gensler is he actually hinted at the fact that he is actually leaving. And now we see that 18 states have accused him for unregular, basically, they, especially Coinbase, Ripple, those projects, they were hit hard by the SEC whilst Biden in the Biden administration, and I would say that they were quite unfair, and that is why now that Gary Gensler is actually on his way out, we find that these projects like XRP, like Coinbase, and all of the other projects that were actually hit hard by the SEC, their tokens are now doing well. Why? Because not only did Ripple win the lawsuit against the SEC, we see now that the main person that drove all of this, I can almost say, abuse towards these projects, are actually on their way out. And now we see that there's a new captain basically running the ship. So this has been an extremely exciting week, and I believe that this weekend will be no different, because as we know that crypto doesn't sleep. Crypto is 24/7, and yeah, so it has been a build up. The first week of Trump being elected have been basically, we saw Bitcoin already hitting an all-time high, and it has been hitting all-time highs ever since then. So what am I expecting for next week? So definitely, now that all of this information is basically out, and many a times what I've realized is that, you know what, people hear this information, or the information comes out, and but not retail is not basically, or retail is basically those who buy occasionally, and they are not really behind the technology and the belief like us, who's on this on a daily basis, and looking forward to seeing these projects changing how the world works, and basically bringing decentralization and giving power to each and every person out there. Because I mean, just one factor being inflation, getting ahead of inflation, definitely, I believe that for that reason, everyone should actually be on board. Why? because at the end of the day, when it comes to inflation, the one of the biggest factors that is driving it is basically them printing more money. And when it comes to these cryptocurrencies, they when once it's set, then no one can obviously create more. And as a result, that tends to, when the demand increases and the supply can't decrease, there's only one way for the price to go, which is up. And now you get rewarded for actually saving, because Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, speaks, and he says that savers are losers. The reason being, if you save $1,000 for a year and you get 5% on it, what you can do with 1,000 now, let's say you write it down on a paper and you save it with a bank, and next year you come, or in 5 years you come and you got 5% for the year, which is 25% more. So in 5 years time you have 1,250, but then you can't do all of the things that you wrote down on your list because of inflation, because you just get less interest than what the power is actually being eaten away. However, this is generally the opposite when it comes to cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Apple, Base. Why? Because they cannot. It's basically written in the maths. They cannot create more. So when there's demand for it, obviously now the value actually goes up. Same principle like when at Easter time, onions are expensive. Why? Because the demand goes up and no one can just go and create more. They only have that amount of supply which they have on a monthly basis. So likewise, when it comes to Christmas time, potatoes goes up, meat goes up, all of those kind of things. Why? Because the demand is higher. Likewise, when it comes to, and now imagine that globally the demand goes higher. And if you look at what how Bitcoin or Ethereum or Cardano, how they come into existence, less and less comes into circulation on a yearly basis. Now you can just imagine the supply is not stable, it gets less, and the demand goes up, and that obviously shows in the price action. Family, this have been a phenomenal week, and I know that next week maybe it's not going to be this bullish. Who knows? But I'm sure that this is basically just the tip of the iceberg, because, like I said, yes, Bitcoin may have set all-time highs, but all of the other altcoins, they have not nearly reached those levels. So a lot is still going to happen going forward, but we will be on it. We will be keeping an eye on what's going on throughout the world. And yeah, let us know in the comments what are the projects that you are actually looking at, and which are some of the projects that you want us to look closer into and discuss on this channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, and yeah, hopefully we see you on our next channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to share this broadcast with others who are obviously also in need of understanding more about what is actually going on in this wealth transfer, where we are basically in the fourth industrial revolution, so financial revolution basically. Because at the end of the day, yes, we had first where we would exchange, we barter, and then we had gold, etc., and then we had coins, we had paper, etc., we had credit cards. But this, where we are going digital, this is basically where things are this is basically where everything where it will revolve around. Yes, maybe not everyone have heard of it, but at a rapid pace now, this information and this tools are actually being spread throughout the world, and people are adopting it much faster than when I got started in 2016. Thank you for tuning in. See you on my next stream.